Hi, my name is A.Torres. I teach Spanish and ballroom dancing at Xavier College Prep High School in Palm Desert, California. Today we're going to explore a tool called Quizlet. Quizlet is an online platform that allows teachers to create digital flashcards for pretty much anything. Make study sets for vocabulary terms and definitions for any subject, including important dates and events for history, equations and formulas for mathematics or science, or even conjugations for world language. Quizlet is accessible through any device that connects to the internet. There's even an app available on the Apple App Store for iOS devices and on the Google Play Store for Android devices. This is a great way for students to study and master the building blocks of any subject. So let's take a look at Quizlet. First, open a browser, and we're going to go to Quizlet.com. Once you're on Quizlet.com, you're going to sign up for an account. There are two ways of signing up automatically, using your Google account or Facebook account, or you can create a username and sign in using any email address. Now, I already have an account, so I'm going to log in. All right, so this is what the main landing page looks like for each account. In the upper right-hand corner, you're going to see your username or email address. When you click on the drop-down menu, you can actually take a look at all of your study sets that you've made. You can also take a look at your general settings. You can log out. There's a help center if you have any questions you need to troubleshoot. And there is a section for teachers if you have questions and you want to watch more instructional videos for more detailed information about all of the features available on Quizlet. There's also a group discount if you want to subscribe to the paid version. If you buy 2 or more in a small group, you can get a discounted rate for a few more bells and whistles. So again, this is your user menu here. That doesn't really have to do with the actual Quizlet vocab sets, but this is just for you to manage your accounts. Now, on the upper side here, whenever you hit Quizlet, you're going to come back to your main landing page. That's like hitting your main menu. You have a couple of options as to how to get started here. So from your left navigation bar here, you have access to premium content, which is paid. I'm not going to review that. It's not really too relevant for us today. But you also have access to your settings. So if you need to reset your password or change your email, you want to indicate what school you're from, things like that. You have 3 main sections here. The first section is sets. So if I click on sets, I'm going to be able to see all of the vocabulary sets that I've created through this account. Now, again, I teach Spanish mainly, so you're going to see a lot of sets that I've developed over the years, and they're just archived here. I also have access to a folder menu. So as you create sets, you're able to organize them in folders, and you can see how many sets are part of each of the folders that you've created. You can also create classes, and this is going to be one of the main things that you utilize, and I recommend that you use. So I've, again, taught Spanish. This is my most recent class set. So I'm going to show you how to make a class right now. So you're going to click on Create a Class, and I'm going to call this AVLI Demo. If you want to enter a description, you're welcome to. So vocabulary sets are made by teachers, just like you and me. They're also made by students. So if you want to allow students to add study sets to the class and share with their peers, as well as possibly add friends, you can leave this checked. I don't like to have students upload any sets. I want to make sure that the information that I provide my students is what they use for their studying. I want to minimize the amounts of error, but also I want to make sure that all the content is vetted. Also, I want students who are part of my class to be members of my class and nobody else. So for that purpose, I uncheck this box. So I'm going to go ahead and if you desire to have your school indicated here, you can do that. I'm going to click Create a Class, and I will now come to my class landing page. So for this class, you can see up here that I have 0 sets. and I have one member, myself. In terms of sets, don't have any yet. Members, just me. And if you want to invite others to join, you can do so in a couple of ways. You can simply copy this URL, hit copy link, and you can copy paste this into your LMS. You can send this via email to your students, to a specific grade level, to a specific class, and they'll get this link, click, and they will be able to join this class. So that's a quick and easy way to have students join Quizlet and join your class. Now, once we have a class going, we can create a set. So I'm going to go back to sets, and I can click on this button that is here that says add a set, or I can click on this plus to add a set. So I'm going to click on add a set. Now I have two options. I can create one from scratch, or if I've created sets in the past, I can indicate what I want to add to this class based on the library of sets that I have on my account. So now that this is a brand new class, I'm just going to click on create a new set. So I'm going to create a set called Las partes del cuerpo humano. And in English, I'll say the body parts of the human body. Now, there's a new feature called diagram. And I'm really excited about this because if you have any kind of image and you want to use that as something that students can label, you can simply click and drag or choose a file from your desktop and have this be a guiding document for students to label. So I'm going to go ahead and do that right now just so you can see what that looks like. I have a little stick man dude that I've drawn, and I'm going to use this for making some vocabulary. So I am going to click on this little point, and I can click on my image, and I'm going to add a term. I'm going to say la mano. And my definition, you're going to notice that all of a sudden you have some letters with accent marks. It auto detects that this is in Spanish. Just to verify, I'm going to, it says Spanish already. Normally it asks you to enter the language. I'm going to add the definition, which will be in English. I'm going to say hand, and that will be in English. So now this will be preset, and anytime I enter the term, it'll be in Spanish. Definition will be in English. Okay, so I have here la cabeza, definition. I have here el pie. I'm going to say foot. I'm going to say el es. There's a tilde on the O, el estómago, and definition, stomach. And let's go here with el brazo, arm. And one last one. La pierna, which is leg. Okay, so I've taken an image, I've added points that I've labeled with the term and definition. For my context, it's Spanish and English. And I'm going to now hit the create button to make my first set. And here we go, we have our first set. Now, of course, when you make a set, you want it to get out to your students. So you have a couple of things you can do. What I typically do again is I click on copy link, and I send this via email to students. If you use Google Classroom, you can automatically share this with Google Classroom through Google Classroom to your students. Again, just copy paste this link and you can add this to any LMS. and get your students working on this specific set once it's ready to rock and roll. You can also choose to add it to a class or a folder. So I am going to add this to AVLI demo. You can see that it's already there because we created this set through the class. Okay, so if I scroll down, I'm going to see here that I have my points. When I hover over each point, I can see the term and definition. So again, this is a quick and easy way to study. And then I also have my term, my definition, and the location. So I have this here. Let's say I wanted to add a few more terms. I'm going to click add. But I don't necessarily want it to be focused on the actual diagram or the image that I have. I want to add a few more terms. This is just a good way to get started. I can simply add a card, which will be la nariz. And I'll click on definition. Now the software actually recognizes some of the terms, so I can just click on nose, and I just keep going. One more, el pelo, and this is hair. Now, okay, so I think I'm going to be good there with just those 8. You're going to see that there's a little icon here for image. So if I click image, it's actually going to be what's going to complete my individual flashcard. Now, the flashcards are different from your diagram. There's a connection between some of these terms and definitions to your diagram, but that's a separate item from the actual study set flashcards. So if I click on image, the system actually recognizes these terms and will auto search images associated with the terms and definitions you've entered. So I'm going to click on this to indicate la mano, and I've just added that image for la cabeza. I'm going to click on this. I'm going to go with that image. For el pie, let's go with that. Let's click on image here, el estómago. Let's go with that one. Arm. Let's go with this. Again, quick and easy. Almost done here. La pierna is leg. Let's click on la nariz, nose. And then lastly, el pelo, hair. And we are done. So we've just created our first set. Now, once you get to the main page for this set, you are going to be able to scroll down and you can see a couple of things. You can see your diagram here, and you can also see your flashcards, all your terms, definitions, and images associated with that. Again, if you want to further modify, you can click here, add, remove terms. It's pretty easy. So I want to show you now what activities are built into Quizlet for studying as well as for playing. These are my favorite actually, but it's great to be able to trick students into learning by gamifying the learning process. Before we get there, I'm going to go ahead and go up to the study activities first. So flashcards, it's the easiest thing to do. Now, if a student downloads the app, this is going to be what they mainly do, is you're going to have the image with the term in English. And then on the back side, you'll have the term. So you have the definition with the image, and you have the term. Now, if you click on the options here from the left side, you can do a couple of things like turn audio on, and you can indicate what you want the answer or the backside to be. I have it set to Spanish because I want students to be able to guess the word in Spanish. To make it a little easier, I can always set it to English first, and that way they can see the Spanish and then try to guess it in English. It just depends on the individual needs of your students. I'm going to keep it here on Spanish so you can see what this looks like. Hand, la mano. Not sure if you can hear that. I'm tapped into my earphone here, but it's actually speaking the term in Spanish. You can hear the word head in English, the word foot in English when I click, el pie, stomach, el estómago, arm, el brazo, etc. So that is a flashcard feature. I'm actually wondering, and I'm blanking, with Spanish, French, and English, did I spell stomach correctly? I'm just going to do a quick search. I don't want to, oh, okay, good, fantastic. Alrighty, so flashcards, you have that as a study option. You can also click on Learn, and this allows students to have to identify the term through a multiple choice option. So, el pelo, awesome, correct. El brazo, I'm hearing the term in Spanish. I need to click on the one that's correct. El estómago, la cabeza, again, I'm hearing this. Nose, la nariz, el pie, la pierna, the leg. And I'm able to see that I am becoming familiar with 7 terms. I have one that I've not seen, and this is the term. Now, the cool thing about this is that Quizlet actually tracks your progress, or the student's progress. And after you've gotten some of these correct a few times, it indicates that you've mastered this vocabulary. This is a really neat feature because it then is able to say, okay, the ones that you've mastered, those become labeled easy vocab words. The ones that you've missed a couple of times become medium, and then the ones that you've missed frequently become a hard level vocabulary for you. And in terms of the gamification they're going to see a little later, you'll have the option to pick different levels of difficulty. So if it's going to be geared toward easy vocab, medium level vocab, or hard level vocab. And that's determined on an individual basis based on the student's learning process. Okay, so that's the Learn feature. And you can actually toggle back and forth and have it be just multiple choice, just listening, or you have to write. The next activity is writing. So being able to type in the term that goes to the definition. Now, if you want to switch that, you can click on Options, and you can have audio turned on or off. As you go through and progress through sets, you can have it start over, kind of like resetting, or you can just keep going over and over and over, and it'll track all your information. Answer with Spanish. I want to make sure from my context that kids are typing the Spanish. I don't really care to what degree they are accurate in English. My focus is the Spanish, so I'll leave it there. So here, there's that diagram image, la mano. I'm going to hit enter. That's correct. La pierna. Now, enter is right back here. You can barely see it behind the little picture-in-picture. So you can just hit enter. This is el estómago. Now, you'll notice that I just clicked on this little button here, which is an O with an accent mark. I have access to capital, lowercase, letters with accent marks. Sometimes students don't know key combinations for accent marks, so Quizlet provides different possibilities as a quick clickable button that a student can click on to incorporate that into their answer. And there you go. So as I keep getting them correct, it traces how many I've gotten right, how many I've gotten wrong, and how many within this set I have to answer. And if I don't know this, I can hit I don't know. It gives me the answer, and I'll type it, el pie, or some kids say el pie. No, it's not the pie. El brazo, el brazo. Okay, so that's the right option. Now, spell is really neat because you can start with a couple of things. With the definition in English with an image, and if you can recognize it, you can type it. But you click on this icon here, and it in Spanish accent, you'll hear la pierna. So all the student needs to do is type exactly what they hear. This is great for developing oral skills, oral comprehension. La pierna, and that is correct. It goes el brazo, la cabeza, el estómago. I didn't do the accent mark. And it explains to me what the accurate spelling is. El estómago. And it is now correct. You get the idea. Now, if I don't want to have a visual of the term here, I can turn that off. I want to make sure that the audio is on. I can click on advanced audio options. I can have the English audio off. And I should be able to make sure that I only have audio. Oop, I get the misspoke. You're going to have the term here as a reference. Okay, so that's the spell feature. Lastly, I like this feature. Based on what you have in your sets, you can have a test generated automatically. So it defaults to 20 questions. We only have 8 terms. So you're going to have a combination of written questions where students have to type in the answer, and you'll have some multiple choice. This can also provide you with matching, and it can also provide you with true false. I usually have students take this mini test right before they have to take an assessment from me. I want to make sure that they are familiar with the building blocks prior to having to apply the building blocks of language. And so the night before, I'll have students go to Quizlet, take a test until they get 90% or higher, have them screenshot their score with their name and a little PMP with their image, so that I know that it's their test that's being taken by them. And I usually give them an extra credit point just so that it helps them. It's a little incentive for them to go in and study their vocabulary. Okay, so these are all of the built-in activities for student learning through Quizlet. Now I'm going to show you quickly 2 games that students love to play. Again, gamifying the learning process. It helps. It stimulates the brain. Students end up remembering. And the great thing about this is that they can just play and try to outdo best scores and get the top spot on the scoreboard. So here's what this looks like. I'm going to do la pierna, boom. La mano, boom. El pie, boom. El estómago, boom. Oh, I can't see. El brazo, and la cabeza. Okay, not bad. 18 seconds. I'm going to play again. Again, foot. Now I have this here. As I can see. Oh no, am I going to beat my score? Just barely. So again, students, when they're part of the class, they get to play against each other for the top spot on the leaderboard. Again, a great way to get students to learn by having them compete against one another. That's the matching. Now I'm going to go back to, actually, I think we just saw a different version of the matching that I wanted you to. No, it didn't do it. Okay, so let's go to Gravity. Gravity is a game where you have to protect the planet from falling asteroids. So again, this is where you indicated you can choose easy, medium, or hard vocabulary based on how you did in the learning process. So let's go. Now this process is easy. You type in Spanish or the term associated with the definition. And as you get them correct, you're going to see more and more come down, and they're going to start to come down faster and faster each time. So the goal is to make sure that you can type the term associated with each definition before you get two of these, clear the screen, in which case, end of the world, game over, you die. So that's that. Again, these are the main features of helping students master the building blocks of any subject, terms, definitions, vocabulary, conjugations, anything that you create for your students. Now, we have the create option. I also want to show you the browse option. So people just like you and me have made a lot of sets. So let's say I'm going to click on science. I'm going to click on biology for our science folks. And I'm going to take a look at cell bio. So I can see, okay, what's been created here for cell bio? I want to have an activity for my students to do. I can see some of these images here. I want to click on something for organelles. That's kind of the unit that we're going to work on next. So as you are looking at the study set that Dylan, without an N here, made, you want to just scroll down and see, okay, is this something that meets my needs? These are the terms, definitions, and images. Are they accurate? Is this going to meet my needs? And if the answer is yes, awesome. You like this. You can even go through the activities if you want, but in order for you as a teacher to be able to utilize this, what I would typically do is I would add set to class folder. So you just hit the plus, and now you're going to automatically have this set available to any of the classes that you set. You can also have it set to any folder, and so this will assign this to the AVLI demo class. And I've just added that to my AVLI demo, which is neat. I can also, let's say I want to use this, but I want to add some vocab, or I want to take some out. Maybe there's just too much. I can always hit the customize. And when I get to the customize, it goes back into the edit mode. And again, you can come back if you want to make use of or delete the diagram. You can always modify this. And once you've edited this to your liking, you would just simply hit create. I'm going to click here and modify this to say organelles test 2, just to change the title up. And now this is part of my sets. Again, I can then copy the link, share it through an LMS, my website, push it through to my students. Now I have not assigned this to my class. I'm going to assign this one to my AVLI demo class. Cool things too, you can also print these. So you have options to print. You can see scores, see how your students are doing. You can also grab an embed code. So if your LMS has a capability to have different widgets, by clicking on this, you can actually do the learn mode or the match mode. So there are some games that are available for some of these. You just copy the HTML and you can embed the match game into your LMS or your website, or you can just do the strict learn mode and copy the learn activity into your LMS or website by copying this HTML code here. Alrighty, what else here? Let's say this is something that you decide, you know what, I copied this. I'm not really going to use this. All you need to do is just hit delete and it goes bye-bye. The last option I want to introduce you to, so we've created our own set from scratch. We've browsed through to see what others have made and we've adapted that to meet our needs. You can also just hit search. So let's say for an English teacher, you want to do a quick activity on literary terms. Let's see what's out there for literary terms. Alrighty, I'm gonna say, yeah, let's take a look at this one. Dakota Smith. Again, as part of the vetting process, always make sure you scroll, take a look at what is here. Okay, is this accurate? Looks pretty good. Do I like the images associated with this? Alrighty. Again, I'm going to add this to my class. And we are ready to rock and roll. Now, again, all I need to do is click on Quizlet, and this will take me back to my home page. I'm going to click on AVLI demo, and I can see here all of the sets that I now have associated or assigned to this class. I have here an example of one that we made from scratch, one that we borrowed, one that we modified, another one that we borrowed. And that's, for the most part, Quizlet. Again, it's a great tool to help students practice their vocabulary. If they have a mobile app, this is great for them to have all their vocab for your entire class, for all their classes, for when they're being transported to and from school, from when they are having lunch, taking a break, if they're in between practice in class with their smart device, they have all their vocab accessible to them at the tap of a screen. This is Quizlet. I hope this is a useful tool for you, and I look forward to hopefully getting to see some of the quizzes that you make. Hope this is a good experience for you in the classroom.